And then we jump back to the present. Everything we saw was actually a dream. Leonis had been seeing it while asleep. As he wakes up, he finds himself in Celia's room. Suddenly, he feels something strange around his neck and instinctively gives an order to Celia. Without hesitation, she wakes up, confused. She had been in a deep sleep. How could she wake up so suddenly? That's when Leonis explains. Because of the seal between them, a master-servant contract has been formed. This means he can command her whenever he wants, and she will be bound to obey. Celia is shocked. "You mean you can order me to do anything?" she asks. Leonis assures her, "Don't worry, I won't give any unnecessary commands." He then questions her, "Did you inhale my blood while I was asleep?" Celia sheepishly admits, "Just a little." Leonis smiles and says he's not angry, but next time, she should ask first. Celia apologizes sincerely. Suddenly, a call comes through. It's from Alphine. She informs them that the Academy's strongest squad, Group 13, had gone to the sea to investigate a mysterious creature but hasn't returned. Despite being one of the most powerful groups, there's no signal or trace of them. Alphine adds that if she receives any updates, she'll let them know immediately. Back with Leonis and Celia, she reminds him, "You said you'd train me." Leonis nods, "Yes, I remember." The scene then shifts to the Academy's staff, all visibly tense. Group 13 has still not returned, and a new report reveals something chilling. A void colony. Void monsters are beings from another world, and a colony means a massive gathering of them. When asked how many there might be, the reply is terrifying, more than 100. Worse, their Void Lord might also be present, an extremely dangerous entity. The only effective way to stop them would be to eliminate their leader. However, the current technology is too limited to even detect the monsters accurately. With growing concern, the staff decides to redirect attention to protecting the city and its people, fearing an imminent attack. All platoons are ordered to stay alert and safeguard civilians. Back in training, Celia is battling two robots at once, the same type Leonis fought to pass his test. She handles them with ease. When Leonis asks if she had prior sword training, she replies, "Yes, my family trained me in swordsmanship since I never unlocked my holy sword's power as a child." Leonis acknowledges her technique but says she needs to train in actual combat conditions. He opens a portal, summoning a group of skeleton warriors, his own low-level undead soldiers. He tells her not to worry and that she can go all out. Celia takes on the challenge, defeating many skeletons, but eventually tires. Seeing this, Leonis calls off the training, letting the skeletons vanish. He tells her that's enough for today and offers energy support if needed, but Celia declines. Meanwhile, Celia steps out and heads to meet Alphine. On her way, she spots a cute creature named Black sitting outside Alphine's house. She finds it adorable but doesn't have time to stop. Inside, Alphine informs her that another group, even stronger than the last, was sent to investigate the Void Lord. But they too have gone missing. Leonis and Celia are seen riding through the city on a bike, looking for food. At a food shop, Sherry is working undercover, gathering intel by interacting with shop owners and customers. When asked to chop some potatoes, she slices the entire bowl instead. The shocked owner sends her outside to clean. As Sherry steps out, she notices Leonis and Celia. Curious, she wonders where they're headed. Turns out, Celia stops outside an orphanage restaurant hybrid. Leonis asks, "Where are we?" Celia explains that this place shelters children who lost their parents to void monsters. And seeing those orphan children, he could relate to them. Because before becoming the Darklord, he was once a normal human too, and at that time, he was an orphan as well. As they go inside, a few kids run up to Celia. One heads toward her quickly, but Leonis tries to stop him, only to be calmed by Celia. The orphanage owner appears and, recognizing Celia, asks about Leonis. Celia explains how she found him surrounded by monsters and protected him. She also reveals that Leonis is a holy sword knight, exciting the children who rush to see his powers. Celia distributes food she brought for them, making the kids happy. Meanwhile, we return to the city where an investigation team is working. While Celia sleeps, something strange appears on her computer screen. Alarms blare. The city's control room is under attack by void monsters. They're breaching the system rapidly that were transported to a flashback from Leonis's past life, a time when he was a renowned hero. A monster species called Org was attacking a city. Leonis and his two comrades arrived to fight them. One of them, an old man named Urkel, used overwhelming power to destroy monsters, but his reckless attacks were also harming civilians. Leonis, disturbed by this, destroys Urkel's attack and steps in. Using precision and planning, he defeats the monsters while protecting the people. His actions earn him the admiration of the citizens, but Urkel and the other heroes seem far from pleased. Their resentment is clear. Returning to the present, we see that the creatures seen earlier in the headquarters might be something even more terrifying. The threat of the void is growing, and Leonis's role in this new world is only just beginning. It turns out, that creature was actually Urkel. Or to be more precise, it was a new form of his power. Meanwhile, at another headquarters, a high-level meeting was underway. Everyone was discussing this mysterious creature. But suddenly, it vanished. No one could understand what was happening. Through a conference call, Elphine was brought into the discussion. She explained that her research led her to suspect something strange was going on in District 62. She'd collected data from various districts, and the energy she detected there didn't match anything normal. It resembled that of a void monster. This shocked everyone. Void monsters aren't supposed to be this powerful. An old man among them argued, "That's not possible. Our city has void monster detectors installed everywhere. If there was even a hint of a threat, we would have known." Elphine countered, "That's just it. The energy signature was too low for the detectors to flag it as a threat. That's why the system didn't react." Still, it was hard for them to believe, especially because void monsters never use magic. Yet now, they were witnessing it firsthand. The old man questioned this, and Elphine threw back a question of her own. What exactly happened in District 62? Upon checking reports, they found something bizarre. People had seen roots growing rapidly. And just as she was explaining this, a new signal came through. Activity had now been detected in District 31, and then again in the stock department. The same roots had begun spreading there too. Everyone was shocked. What was going on? One officer questioned, "Void monsters aren't intelligent. They don't have brains. So who's planning all this?" Scene change. We now see Elphine in her room with Regina, who was worried about Celia, who still hadn't returned. Elphine reassured her Celia's clothes had a tracker. Checking the GPS, she confirmed Celia and the others were currently at an orphanage. Regina sighed in relief, but Elphine remained tense. Strange incidents are happening all over the city. We need to stay alert. We don't even know yet if this is the work of void monsters or something else. Scene cut to Leonis and Celia. They're having dinner with the orphanage kids. One curious boy sitting next to Leonis asked if he could see his holy sword. Leonis wasn't too fond of the kid. Just then, a girl entered, about the same age as Leonis. Even though she was an orphan, she looked well-educated. Leonis was impressed, mostly because she clearly had a crush on him. After all, Leonis had activated his holy sword. He was powerful. Scene returns to headquarters. A team had been sent to the location where the roots first appeared. They began cutting them on orders from the old man. They needed to find out what was really behind all this. But suddenly, from within the roots, eyes appeared. A signal confirmed their worst fear. This was indeed the work of a void monster. An emergency order was given. Begin general execution in the city. This was to eliminate the monsters, but there was a huge risk that civilians could get caught in the crossfire. Many were opposed to it, but there was no other choice. Suddenly, the communication signals were cut. The monster had hacked the system. They had to restore it immediately. They managed to get intel from the field. 2 soldiers had survived the attack and reported that the monster had suddenly fled. This was confusing. Void monsters never retreat. Once they attack, they fight until death. This was the first time one had escaped, which made them wonder, was it really a void monster? A new signal was detected. The roots were heading toward the city's main energy source, a central hub where all power was stored. It became clear that this was the monster's main target all along. There was no time left. All defense forces were deployed, and every defense system was activated. The roots reached the energy source, but the defense systems fired on them and held them back. Soldiers arrived and opened fire too, but the defense systems were growing weaker. It was now or never. They had to destroy the monster completely. An evacuation order was issued. All civilians were to be moved to a single safe zone. Scene returns to the orphanage. That annoying boy was still bothering Leonis. The other kids asked him to entertain them. Leonis refused at first, but gave in after Celia requested it. He summoned a bunch of skeletons, his skeleton army, pretending to control them with his hands. But the kids weren't too impressed. Then, strange sounds echoed outside. Void-type monsters, but of a new kind. Back at the energy source, the roots summoned flying stampede monsters, powerful and airborne. HQ activated high-level defenses, but this required using up emergency stored energy, their last resort. It would take 3 days for outside help to arrive. The generals who gave the order were now second-guessing themselves. Elphine, Regina, and Celia arrived to help evacuate civilians. The sky was filled with flying monsters. While they were concerned about Celia, they trusted she'd stay safe. From a high point, they drew their holy swords and fought alongside the automated defense systems. These stampede monsters looked like dragons and were incredibly powerful. Back to the orphanage, Celia decided to stay to protect the children. She went inside as Leonis followed, but was suddenly stopped by Sally, who appeared out of nowhere. Leonis was surprised. "How did you get here so fast? You live on the other side of the city." Sally lied, saying she just happened to make it. But in truth, she had been following Leonis and Celia the whole time. Leonis told her, "You weren't sent to spy on me. You were sent to gather information on the void monsters and the people here." As he returned, Leonis noticed a dragon-like monster approaching, a stampede. Celia stepped up. She activated her holy sword, ready to fight to protect the children. But Leonis could tell her sword wasn't fully powered. She hadn't awakened her new vampire powers yet. "Are you scared?" Leonis asked. Celia admitted, "Yes. But I can't run. These children need me." She charged forward, defeating 2 monsters. But when she turned, there were even more, already burning in flames. Leonis had taken them down. "Was that your power?" she asked. "Yes," Leonis replied, saying nothing more. "Focus on the others. We're not done yet." Elsewhere, we saw Celia slaying monsters with her powerful skills. Regina had a deadly cannon. Her attacks wiped out enemies instantly. They kept fighting until the ground beneath them began to shake, and something massive emerged before them. A colossal void monster, known as the Void Hydra, had become infamous in the region. Such a creature had never attacked the city before, and its sudden appearance instilled fear among the inhabitants. They were uncertain about how to confront it, as their powers were insufficient to halt such a formidable beast. Determined to protect the city, Leonis decided to unleash his powers. He was aware that confronting the massive monster would require him to utilize a significant portion of his strength, including high-level spells. He instructed Celia to manage the situation while he prepared his attack. Celia focused on defeating the surrounding lower-level void monsters. Leonis commenced his assault by casting a high-level fire spell, generating multiple fireballs that struck the enormous hydra, causing it to collapse. The effort drained Leonis considerably, and the hydra sustained substantial damage. However, it retaliated by launching a fire attack directly at Celia. As Leonis prepared his next move, Black S intervened, attacking the hydra and preventing it from continuing its assault. Seizing the opportunity, Leonis employed a level 10 gravity attack, a highly potent spell that pinned the monster to the ground, ultimately leading to its demise. Celia was both impressed and shocked by the display of power. However, the intense gravity began to create holes in the ground, from which roots started emerging, pulling Celia into one of the pits. Leonis rushed to save her, but more roots emerged, forming a structure. A voice emanated from within, calling out Leonis's name. It was none other than Urkel. Recognizing the voice, Leonis smiled. A flashback revealed a younger Leonis standing before Rosalia, who offered him a dangerous weapon, which he accepted. Returning to the present, Leonis observed the mark on his hand symbolizing the master-servant agreement with Celia, indicating she was still alive. He prepared to confront Urkel, but Urkel retreated underground, evading Leonis's attack. As Leonis was about to follow, Black S stopped him, directing his attention to the frightened orphans nearby. Leonis reassured them, promising to bring Celia back safely. Trusting his words, the children calmed down. He instructed them to stay indoors, creating a protective barrier and stationing skeleton soldiers to guard against potential threats. Just as Leonis was about to set out to rescue Celia, Black S heard voices and discovered a transmitter connected to Alphine. Before revealing Alphine, the narrative shifted to Regina and Sakuya, who were battling various creatures. Through the transmitter, Alphine communicated with Leonis, who informed her of Celia's capture. Assessing the deteriorating situation, Alphine directed Leonis to a location where she suspected Celia might be. Leonis immediately headed there. Meanwhile, Alphine was nearly attacked by a monster, but Sari intervened, saving her. Sari pondered why, as a demon lord, Leonis was involving her in such protective endeavors. Leonis and Blackus navigated through a tunnel towards the tower where Urkel had previously unleashed his power. Upon arrival, they found the tower enveloped by roots. Leonis confronted Urkel, expressing surprise at his survival. Urkel echoed similar sentiments, noting the changes since their time. As Urkel activated his powers, roots and monster-like entities emerged from his body. Among the roots, Celia was held captive. The roots separated Leonis and Blackus, but Blackus managed to protect Leonis. Celia, aware of Leonis's presence, attempted to free herself, but her efforts were in vain. Suddenly, Urkel cast a level 8 magic spell, creating numerous formations. Leonis and Blackus tried to evade the attacks, but Leonis sustained minor injuries. Celia, witnessing this, realized she needed to escape by any means necessary.